Hey, what's going on, U.S. history people? We have video 27 for you today. This one is going to be on a bunch of farmers, specifically the People's or the Populist Party, as it is often known as. So, Mr. Lawrence, tell us about what exactly is the Populist Party?
All right, so as we're studying American history and government, we're talking about political parties, political system, and we're starting to see the development of a pretty significant third party, not a Republican, not a Democrat, but the Populist Party. So, who are the Populists? What are they about? Well, they were a political party that formed in the late 19th century, when we're talking 1800s, made up of mostly farmers. As Mr. Norris said, this is focusing on farmers and the needs of farmers that maybe were different in an industrializing society. So they sought to increase government involvement in the economy. So moving away from that laissez-faire, no government involvement, very traditional capitalist society of the United States, and getting the power of the government into the economy to support their needs. Specifically focusing on railroads, banks, and government reforms in our political system. It was critical of the economic system of capitalism that it was only allowing small groups of Americans to prosper when many, many others were not.
And perhaps most importantly, they originated in Cincinnati.
Detroit.
Cincinnati, Mr. Lawrence. It's on the screen.
That's right.
And there is the wonderful Great American Ballpark where the Reds play. The Reds were around when the Populist Party was formed in Cincinnati. They weren't playing there, but they were around then.
Huh.
Nobody cares. Okay, so let's go to what groups of people supported the Populist Party. Well, we have farmers. Do us a favor, star, circle, underline, highlight this bad boy. Make sure you know it is farmers. When you see populists, think of farmers. The Grange is a group of farmers together that sought to connect farmers and share techniques. So a way to basically share things that worked in agriculture and things that didn't, and hope to improve farming. And they also hoped to elect state legislatures that supported their programs and make laws that were favorable to farmers. The Farmers Alliances, these were mainly local organizations seen within states and even counties, and they established stores and banks for farmers where they could go and take out loans.
So moving on to what led to the creation of the Populist Party. So some things we need to know. What brought this about were those economic issues that are really starting to become more significant during the period of industrialization and modernization in the American economy. We see the growth of corporate power following the end of the Civil War. So larger corporations start to take more control of the American economy. Specifically, we see this happening in railroads, and high shipping rates are going to hurt farmers because they have to pay a higher rate to ship their goods to market, which then in turn cut into their profit and how much money an individual farmer can actually make for growing their crops. Railroads often owned grain elevators and charged high rates to store those goods. So not only did railroads charge to ship the goods, they also charged farmers to store them. So again, farmers are getting hurt financially as a result of the system that's developing. It emerged from previous agrarian groups, so other agricultural groups like the Grange and the Farmers Alliance helped farmers collectively come together, and now they're going to use that collective action in the political system by shaping the Populist Party.
All right, so what are the goals of the Populists? A couple things you should be familiar with. Well, they saw economic relief as well as government intervention. As Mr. Lawrence mentioned, they're kind of anti-laissez-faire. They do want the government involved in the economy. So we have something called the Omaha Platform, created by this dude, Ignatius Donnelly, perhaps one of the sweetest names in U.S. history. And this called for several things you should be familiar with. One is a direct election of senators. This will come true with the 17th Amendment when we talk about that during the Progressive Era. They also wanted a graduated income tax, which means the more money you make, the more you pay in taxes. They wanted an Australian or a secret ballot, so nobody would know who you're voting for. And they, perhaps most importantly, wanted government control of railroads, telegraphs, and telephones that would hopefully help out farmers. And they also wanted the free coinage of silver at a ratio of 16:1 with gold. This is often called free silver or bimetallism. This would increase the amount of money in circulation, which would help farmers pay off their debts. And the way to increase this money would be 16 ounces of silver would equal 1 ounce of gold. This never comes to fruition. In the late 19th century, the U.S. keeps its money backed up only by gold. And as I mentioned, this would increase the money supply and allow farmers to pay off their debts more easily. This would be supported by farmers and debtors, but would be opposed by industrialists and lenders because this money would not be worth as much as it was under the gold standard. They also advocated civil service reform, which allowed people to be promoted based on what they know, not who they know, and they advocated an 8-hour workday.
Mr. Norris, spoiler alert, do we ever have a Populist Party president elected?
We do not know. No Populist Party.
So this is very important to understand, ladies and gentlemen, as we study American history and American politics and government. Although we start to see the development of third parties, very often they're not politically or electorally successful. So we don't see a lot of them actually elected. Some will be elected to political office. But the big important thing to know about third parties within the American system is they help to push the two major parties, like the Republicans and Democrats, in certain directions. As Mr. Norris said, the direct election of senators, a graduated income tax, all part of the Populist Party platform. Although they never had, let's say, a president elected from the Populist Party, a lot of those ideas were taken up by both Democrats and Republicans. All right, moving on to the election of 1896, William Jennings Bryan, a Democrat and supported by Populists as well, versus William McKinley, who was a Republican. The Populist Party supported Bryan due to his support of the free silver bimetallism program. Big thing to know about William Jennings Bryan, very famous cross of gold speech. It said, "You shall not press down upon the brow of labor this crown of thorns. You shall not crucify mankind upon the cross of gold." And when we're talking about a cross of gold, what is he referring to, Mr. Norris?
The gold standard, or money being backed simply by gold, not by silver as well.
So again, he saw the gold standard as kind of representing the wealthy, the elite, the business class, and not really supporting the working class Americans.
All right, so the impact of the Populists, some things you should be familiar with. Many of the ideas and goals of the Populist Party later came to fruition during what's known as the Progressive Era. We have the 16th Amendment, which is an income tax. 17th Amendment is a direct election of senators. Secret ballots are around even through today. And all of this is during the Progressive Era, and this would be a great connection to another time period if you're writing about the Populist Party or the Progressive Era in an essay.
Oh, yeah. So who actually won that election of 1860?
Oh, yeah. William McKinley won. That was the first of 3 times that William Jennings Bryan would lose the presidential election.
And it wasn't the 1860s. It was 1896.
1896, yeah. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's recap this really quick. Things you need to know. Reasons for the creation of the Populist Party. What were the goals of the Populist Party? Our Omaha platform. The famous cross of gold speech given by William Jennings Bryan. And ultimately the impacts during the Progressive Era.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Look forward to see you back here for video number 28, Unions. Best of luck on all your exams, especially the big one in June. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.